before tossing her long dark hair and striding off. Colt gazed after her, trying to place her in the long line of girls he had known over the course of his lifetime there in Langston. He was certain the long-legged beauty hadn't been in his graduating class in school. He would have surely remembered her. She was tall, with legs up to her neck. Her butt was round, and Colt couldn't stop staring as her rear moved with each step in her faded Wranglers. She wore a sleeveless western shirt that snapped up the front and showed off her slim but well-toned arms to advantage. And her breasts. Oh, yeah, she had 'em. Dang! Now he was standing in the milling throng of mostly male farmers and ranchers, with a hard-on like a horny teenager. Colt swept off his Stetson and held it waist-high to cover his state, while he raked his fingers through his hair. But he couldn't tear his gaze from the unknown female. Her long, straight hair had been topped with a white straw cowboy hat, and she wore an attitude as though she had a permanent case of "get the hell away from me." Colt sighed. Casting back in his memory, he couldn't think of any particular girl who had disliked him so openly. In fact, having been an all-star athlete in the local high school had made him pretty popular. Most of the local girls he knew had fallen all over themselves to make sure he was aware they found him attractive and totally desirable as a boyfriend. Of course, a lot of that had to do with the size of his father's ranch. Girls who grew up in farm and ranch territory knew that God wasn't making any more prime Texas real estate, and being a future heir to a considerable chunk of that land would have made him popular with the local female population, even if he wore thick glasses and had buck teeth and a face full of zits. Being a Garrett in this part of the world was generally thought to be a good thing. Why this particular girl didn't think so was a puzzle to Colt, but he had no time to find out. He followed along in the direction the mystery girl had taken, all the while keeping an eye out for Big Jim or Bo. The latter individual hailed him with a wave of a hand. "Hey, Bubba!" Colt cringed at the nickname. "Don't call me that," he admonished. His youngest brother gazed up at him, his intense blue eyes, a Garrett characteristic, twinkling with mischief. "How about Mud? That's what I'm thinking your name is. You better go make nice with Dad. He sent me to find you." He grinned. "Or I should say, to see if you had gotten your lazy ass out of bed yet." Colt drew in a deep breath and let it out, shaking his head as he did so. "I'm in trouble?" "Not so much. Dad's got his eye on some horses. He wants you to take a look at the lot of 'em and give your opinion." Colt gazed at Bo with an exaggerated look of surprise. "Me? He wants my opinion?" He placed his hand on his broad chest. Bo gave him a shove. "Don't be an ass. Of course he does. The opinion of the lowly little brother counts for nothing. But you," he gave Colt another nudge, "you the big expert." Colt grinned, emitting a wry chuckle. "And you the lil' bro who gets off easy." Bo raised his brows. "You think it's been easy growing up in your shadow?" Colt grunted. "You think it's been easy breaking ground and paving the way for you two losers?" The brothers kept up their good-natured teasing as they strolled toward the show barn. Colt put his Stetson back on his head and looked around. "Hey, do you know who that girl is up ahead? The one with the long dark hair? And that bodacious backside?" They both stared at the aforementioned rear with due reverence and fascination. "Yep, that's the one." "That big bro is Joe Dalton's little sister, none other than the lovely Misty Dalton. What do you think? Pretty hot, huh?" Colt felt as though he'd been sucker-punched. Joe's little sister. She couldn't be more than 19 or 20 to his 28. Too young, way too young. Why haven't I seen her around before? Roll your tongue back in your head, Colt. You're gonna trip on it. Colt took a long look. She knew who I was, but I couldn't place her. You graduated and were off at college before she hit high school. No reason you would have noticed her. Hell, she's a couple of years younger than me. For you, she would practically be jailbait.